Welcome to Discovering. Tonight we take a look at two different winter events here in the UP. First up, Michigan Ice Fest.
Most people have to travel to come to ice climb. We don't. You know, it's in our backyard.
Try it. It's worth it.
And then we're off to the races.
Any outhouse race that comes into existence comes because they came to this one.
So sit back and relax. It's Monday night and it's time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forests thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
I probably sound like a broken record by now, but there is no shortage of things to see and do in the UP, even in the winter. Now, climbing up a vertical sheet of ice probably doesn't sound like fun to most of you, myself included, but even if you don't want to scoot up the ice with an axe and crampons, it's pretty cool just to go and watch it in person. And the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore is the most accessible place to do so.
There's so much ice here along Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Right across from us here is Grand Island National Recreation Area, and that has a ton of ice. So we have a lot of ice.
It's so accessible. You know, from Marquette, it's a 40-minute drive, and it's about a 5-minute hike, a 5-minute approach into these beautiful ice climbs. Big pillars, big sheets of ice, and there's multi-pitch climbs that if you want to get after it in the backcountry. Mid to late December is when a lot of the features are formed that you can kind of get out to. Most of the seepages, and that's kind of unique to Munising, is that it's all sandstone. So you'll get water seeping through the sandstone, creating features that you can climb. You know, in the summertime, it just kind of looks, it's not a waterfall by any means. It's just kind of like a trickle, but in the wintertime, it means it's ice you can climb. The bigger waterfalls and stuff take a little bit longer to form. So the big pillars that come down, but we can climb well into March and sometimes into April too.
Right now, there are probably people out there ice climbing, but the most action is during the Michigan Ice Fest, held in early February.
Well, it started, a few gentlemen from Kalamazoo, Michigan came up to Munising because they heard about some ice climbing up here. And so they went out, had a wonderful weekend of climbing. They went back into town to a local restaurant and said, you know, we should do this every year. And that's what they did. They put out a Xerox copy, a flyer advertising, and the next year they had 10 people show up. And that was a big deal. There's 10 ice climbers. And so it just started growing and growing and growing. And that was in 1991. It was the first one. Myself and one other person, Arnie Ronas from Houghton, Michigan, were at the first one, and in 1995 we were organizing it. So. Yeah, you're going to look at your feet, and it's just a baby step. Doesn't have to be this big high step. Right into that snow. Yep, right there, right there. You know, it's such a beautiful resource that we have here in the Upper Peninsula, and so this is our backyard, and it's pretty amazing. And so we have people here from all over the country that are just blown away by what we're climbing. And so we have this beautiful blue ice behind us, and ice climbing takes you into these special places where not a lot of people get to go. And so we feel blessed to be able to do this right here in Munising. So there's ice climbing everywhere in the country. People are out there doing it. but not a lot of people no one gets to do it over open water like we get to do it. And so even these professional athletes are blown away. They just cannot believe the beauty of the area, how intense it is with the lake that's roaring beneath their feet and the whiteout snowstorm. And so that's what I think makes people fall in love with this area.
So Michigan Ice Fest is a big multi-day event. Lots of ice to climb, hundreds of people, world-class climbers, classes, presentations, parties. I'm not doing the entire festival justice by what you see here, but here is the Michigan Ice Fest from the point of view of a spectator on one afternoon. And the Ice Fest is very spectator-friendly.
You can watch people climb. A lot of people that you would watch and maybe take pictures and photographs of are people who have never climbed before. So these are people that maybe went on the bus last year to see what it was all about, but now they're climbing. So that's a really cool progression to see. So when you go out there, talk to the climbers, talk to the athletes, and see what brought them there to climb.
I took Todd's advice and chatted with a group from Detroit Outdoors who were there taking a class at the Curtains.
My name's Griselda Trevina Tule, and it's my first time ice climbing. And the first 2 climbs I did were pretty good. One, I made it all the way to the top, and the other one, I made it halfway, and I got tired, and I was like, okay, we're gonna cut it here, but it was exciting. The instructors have been really great, especially like telling you your form. And as you're going up, they're very encouraging and let you know if you're doing something wrong or right, or which way to move, left or right, and what pockets to start going towards. And that's very helpful, especially when you're like so close to the ice and you're so focused on these tiny movements and looking down. I think anyone can do this as long as, you have the right group of people with you that are motivating you through it. And they're just like watching over you and helping you every step of the way.
My name is Michael Davis. I flew into Detroit from Lander, Wyoming, and what I'm doing here today is ice climbing for the first time. I've never seen ice waterfalls like this before, and so to be able to not only see them but then climb them was like, amazing. I've gone up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times so far, and I'm looking to do number 7 shortly. This one was really fun because there's a lot of pockets that it feels like are already there. So you're kind of placing the tools where there's the pockets. And then the ones over there, there's a little, you got to do a little bit more, I guess, hammering because there wasn't as many spots for the tools already.
Liking the view? Amazing. All right, Lauren.
And yeah, they're all I think that's the beauty of it. They're always changing. None of them are ever the same and they'll never be the same because it's how it forms that season, and they're even melting right now, so they're kind of ever changing. Yeah, super neat. It's like a new love affair. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. It's incredible. Yeah. I'm I don't know if rock climbing's that cool anymore.
The formations are unique because unlike rock climbing where the features don't change very often, ice climbing you can actually climb a day apart or a week apart and they change. Ice breaks off, then all of a sudden, the climb changes, and as it reforms and heals, and it might form in a different direction depending on wind, all of a sudden the climb is uniquely different the next time you climb it. So ice conditions change, temperature. If you were to go out last, a couple days ago when it was 35 degrees, ice is uniquely different to sink an ice axe into compared to today.
Ordell Carabin came from the Twin Cities of Minnesota, so Minneapolis, St. Paul. Out here helping instruct some clinics for Detroit Outdoors and Memphis Rocks, and then later on, tomorrow onward, teaching some intro to ice for people of color. I think people are loving it. It's pretty, you come up here, you see it, you get stoked on it, and then you get on the ice and it's, you're not too sure if this is for you. It feels really weird. Everybody's like that first climb, go up maybe a few feet and then call it for that climb, but then they get back up on it. And our hope as instructors is to give them some tips and tricks to get all the way to the top and hopefully get them addicted to this fun sport.
The biggest thing about Michigan Ice Fest is the accessibility for beginners to ice climbing. As the festival has grown, with vendor support, Ice Fest can provide gear rentals for hundreds of climbers.
You can actually go out and you can rent boots and crampons and ice tools, helmets, and then proper clothing. It's awesome because, like I said, people can have a really, really good experience. Pretty minimal investment to get up here and climb some vertical ice.
So the area that you're at right now is called the Curtains, and that is kind of where people learn to ice climb. It's a big sheet of ice. We can throw a lot of ropes up there. It's easy to access, but you should kind of get out and explore a little bit more. There's big pillar formations that it's a waterfall that freezes, and you can walk all the way around it 360 degrees. It's about twice as high as this. It's called the dryer hose, and it's right around the corner here. It's on everyone's tick list. They want to come up here. They want to climb that climb. So I think you should go over and take a look at that.
I took his advice and checked out the dryer hose, a frozen waterfall climb, where I watched this climber in a red jacket. Later in the afternoon, I decided I hadn't seen enough, so I hiked down the North Country Trail to try and find some other climbs in the backcountry, and ended up on a bit of an adventure with the climber in the red jacket from the dryer hose and his friends. This is Mariusz.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. These are his friends. And this is Sweet Mother Moses. And they are going to climb it in the dark, so it's more dramatic.
2 years ago for Ice Festival, and I brought my younger daughter. She's a photographer and outdoor lover, and that was the first time. And what we did is came here, and she enjoyed this very much.
Well, so I'm from Kentucky, so I pretty much just been doing climbing the face of rocks pretty much my entire climbing career. And I met Mariusz at our climbing gym, and he's from Poland. And he does he went to alpine school because they take alpinism very seriously over there. And he basically took me under his wing and taught me how to ice climb and do alpinism stuff. So I've been saving up for half a year for all the gear I have to buy is very expensive. So that's pretty much my story. This is my second time ice climbing.
Okay, all lined up.
So if this is something you want to experience, Bring your sense of adventure, a pair of ice cleats, and explore more of our playground here in the UP. As the guys from Downwind Sports told me, you first come as a spectator, and next winter you'll be climbing.
And then finally, we do offer a guide service. So maybe you don't like crowds, maybe you just want a family adventure, and we do offer ice climbing guide trips December through March.
Sorry, Mom, I might have to give it a try next year. If extreme winter sports aren't your thing, that's okay. Another entertaining way to spend a weekend afternoon is watching people push outhouses on skis down the main street of Trenary. I mean, you could call it extreme. So let's go together to the 29th annual Trenary Outhouse Classic.
The history of the outhouses was Toivo Eho went to out west. I don't even know where he went, Wyoming or Montana, and he seen a race with mattresses, and he loved the idea, so he brought it to Trenary and kind of came up with this outhouse theme, and it's just escalated ever since. It's a two-person team. They push the outhouse. There's a bar on the back or front, however they want to do it. And sometimes they have a couple of stragglers that come with them, and they run down the track with them as well. Fastest one is the winner.
Well, we were gonna come just to like see it, and then I was looking at the website and I was like, oh, it says you can register day of. This was yesterday. I was like, babe, should we build one? Let's register.
Yeah.
And then my dad had a pair of skis we could use, so we just slapped it together.
Oh yeah. It's fast, it's light. We got this. I run cross country, so I'm a little faster than him. So I'm just gonna match his speed, and then if anything falls off, he's gonna drop back, and I'm just gonna push from the back.
Over 1,500 spectators line Main Street to watch 20 or so teams dash down the street, pushing outhouses in a variety of sizes, colors, and names, many of which you cannot say on TV.
Michigan, Uber Nation! Yeah. Baby Mink!
Bernie Mackey, Marquette, Michigan, Vancouver!
My name is Karen. Have a great time, guys. Thanks! 3, 2, 1, go!
I didn't pay too much attention to the times or who won, but if you want to know, the winners are listed on their website. But let me just say that if this were a race to the outhouse, some definitely would have made it, and some might have to change their shorts. Trophies were awarded for the various age brackets: the squirts, squeakers, dingleberries, stinkers, the sharks, and the old farts.
Our last competitors in the Trenary Outhouse Classic. And there we go. Just a diving push across the finish line.
that's it for this week. Be sure to check out 906outdoors.com, where you'll find the 906 Fishing Report, TV6 weather, shopping, and more. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week right here on Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.